We're here again with another review from Last Minute Productions, and this time we're testing out the latest camera from Nikon, the Nikon Z5 mirrorless. Billed as Nikon's entry-level camera in its full-frame mirrorless segment, I'm going to test out to see if it can match up to their existing model, the Z6, in terms of features and handling. We'll also take a look at their brand new Z-mount lens that's being released as a kit alongside the Z5, and that's the 24-200mm lens. So where does the Z5 position itself among Nikon's mirrorless lineup, and what sort of photographers can make best use of the 24-200? Let's find out. The first thing that you notice when you see the Z5 is that it looks almost identical to the Z6 and Z7. Put these cameras side by side and you can barely tell them apart. The main difference is the lack of a top LCD on the Z5, in which place Nikon have now placed the mode dial. However, in terms of weight and ergonomics, you can't really tell the difference between these models. One feature that Nikon have included in the Z5 is that this camera now has two card slots, both for SD cards, and both of them are capable for recording 4K video. So how do the specs on the Z5 compare to that of the Z6? Well, to start off, the Z5 has about the same resolution as the Z6, approximately 24 megapixels. Of course, it keeps the Z-mount's 55mm diameter as well as the super short 16mm flange focal distance, which allow for the Z-mount lenses to let in more light hitting the sensor. This in turn helps greatly with low light, high ISO photography and also provides edge-to-edge sharpness with reduced distortion. The Z5 can capture 4K video like the Z6. But there is a 1.7x crop factor that the Z5 is limited to in 4K mode. Full HD 1080p video, however, uses the entire width of the sensor, but it is also limited to 60 frames per second, whereas the Z6 can do up to 120. The Z5 also has eye autofocus and animal detection autofocus like the Z6, and it comes with the IBIS in-body image stabilization, offering up to 5 stops of stabilization in camera. Both these cameras have the same X-Speed 6 processor. However, the Z5 can only shoot up to 4.5 frames per second. Nikon has also kept the same shutter release port on the Z5, so you can continue to use your MC-DC2 cables, and the tilting touchscreen LCD and electronic viewfinder with 3.6 million dots have been retained for the Z5. Along with this camera, Nikon have also released the EN-EL15C battery, which has a slightly better capacity than the earlier B and A versions, and similar to the B version, this can also be charged while in camera. Now, while the Z5 is positioned as an entry-level camera in the full-frame series of Z mirrorless cameras by Nikon, the build quality is far from basic. Nikon has understandably had to make a few hardware and feature cuts in order to distinguish it from the Z6 and to keep it at a lower price point. For us at Last Minute Productions, we've used the Z5 alongside with the Z6 for producing video and found it to be extremely capable of producing quality content.